How many birthdays did you all get the chance to celebrate within the last year? Due to most of the unforeseen events happening in 2020, I'm sure most of you didn't get very many chances at all. But I'm gonna guess that most of you guys knew at least about 16 birthdays that happened last year in 2020. 16 is also a significant number because it represents the amount of days that police went in 2020 without killing a single person. I spent the last several weeks researching police brutality and its problems and solutions. According to the mappingpoliceviolence.org, Black people are 3 times more likely to be killed by the police officer than white people, which results in a cycle of, which results in physiological and physical suffering. According to the American Journal of Public Health, people of color are less likely to call the police in light of an actual emergency and more likely to mistrust police and not call them. This in turn leads to another vicious cycle where impoverished areas being over-policed results in police budgets taking up 25 to 40% of city budgets, according to MotherJones.com. Out of the 2 professions you see here before you, the man on the left, if he were to make a single small mistake that would result in the death of someone under his care, he could be held liable for hundreds of thousands of dollars and would likely never be able to practice medicine again. However, for the individual on the right, if he were to deliberately, not even by mistake, but deliberately kill someone in his work, as we've seen in more recent years, there's very little likelihood he would even be held accountable for his actions, or would likely just receive a slap on the wrist. The first step of the solution is knowing how to speak up, but also knowing who to speak up to. MyFloridaHouse.gov allows Floridians to instantly find out their elected representatives' info and how to contact them with their phone number and their address. It's your representatives' jobs to listen to what you need to hear, and this makes it incredibly easy for you to find your district's representative and how to talk to them. The second step of the solution is one that has been almost as widely criticized as it has been spread: defunding the police. Defunding the police is more of a slogan that refers to the diverting of funds from police and investing it into more beneficial departments like social care, public housing, and schooling. It could also be considered an investment in violent prevention methods such as social and family care like Planned Parenthood and school and community counselors, which would result in less violence over time and stopping it before it happens, and taking people at risk out of situations like that. A common counter to defunding the police is a statement that police would be unable to respond to emergencies and violent crimes with less funding. However, the American Civil Liberties Union estimates that about only 5% of 10.3 million arrests made on average per year are actually violent crimes, or crimes that are threatening to the public health. And here we have on this graph, you can see with a red dot mark showing police killings, and blue X's representing violent crimes. You can see that the two have absolutely no correlation whatsoever, which firstly implies that police presence doesn't always deter violent crime, or that the two even really have anything to do with each other. Third step of the solution would be a divested police force to invest in a less militarized society. This would also continue the trend of America righting its historical wrongs against people of color, such as redlining and systemic racism, like Jim Crow laws and things that are still displacing African Americans and people of color to this day. A better managed police task force and funding would result in fewer unnecessary deaths of both people and, peculiarly enough, dogs. According to criminallegalnews.com, the Department of Justice estimates that 25 to 30 dogs are killed per day by police officers. And just as humans, police officers are rarely ever held accountable for their actions. I'm not sure if people or dogs being killed turns you on more, but I think they're both wrong and need to be stopped. I'd like to remind my audience again how important it is that you know what to say, but also who to say it to. MyFloridaHouse.gov is a one-stop place to find your representatives with just your address and your city and zip code. It's important that my audience researches what defunding the police can do for their community, and then to reach out to their representatives to let them know if they believe what they believe is best. Your representatives are paid your money to listen to you and do as you see fit. So make sure they understand what you want from them to do. Is there any other questions? Any questions? Cam?
Why do you think the position to defund the police exhibits extreme opposition?
I think it's because police have just always been seen as deterring violence. So it's really strange for people to hear that they actually cause it, which is actually shown by fact. But there's a lot of families who have police, so it's just a raw subject for people, and people will get defensive of their family and things that they've long seen to hold be publicly significant for keeping the public safe. Any other questions? Yeah.
Have you seen any studies as far as crime rates being reduced or increasing in areas that have had limited funding for police?
I have looked into that, and I actually haven't seen evidence of that. Okay. I can't cite the source specifically, but I can refer to, there is one example in New York City of when New York City cops actually went on strike. I forgot why they went on strike, but they went on strike and stopped serving, and the crime rate actually decreased. Is there any other questions? All right, thanks for coming, you guys.
Thank you.
What was the time?
24.
With questions?